Good evening, Hawks fans, and welcome back to another episode of the Atlanta Sports District. I'm your host, Russell Spence, coming to you directly after Game 19 against the Washington Wizards, an NBA Cup game where our effort was absolutely unacceptable. We ended up losing 132 to 113. Let's get into how it all unfolded. So at the beginning of the game, we were down 11 to 2 to start the game. CJ McCollum was destroying us and the defense was awful. That run went to an 18 to 2 start in favor of the Wizards and we never recovered. The lineup that has Jalen and KP as the center and power forward has not been working defensively at all. It has been pitiful all year long, to the point where I keep saying on this podcast I would like to see a change to the starting lineup because the defense when KP is on the floor is awful. He is terrible at doing what we ask him to do. But right after that, we start playing through Jalen a little more. The score starts to improve a little bit, but the defense remains pitiful, and the lead grows to be an extremely significant margin, over 30 points. Then all of a sudden, I said the defense has been slightly bettered in the quarter after Mo came in and Onyeka had come in. And it helped us come back a little bit, but come back a little bit was still a 22-point deficit at the end of the first quarter, 45 to 23. Quarter two, I said the defense is being a little better at the beginning of the quarter, and the offense was making a few more shots. With the defense looking a little better and the Wizards shooting cooling off a little bit, that allowed us to get the lead down to 13. That would be the last time that we had it, even in a remotely close range. From there, we took out that lineup that had Mo and Onyeka. We put back in KP and Jalen. The defensive rebound became horrible. There was more absolutely horrific defense. And by the end of the second quarter, we were down 77 to 55. They had stretched it right back out. Start of the third quarter, we went right back with the starters we had. The defense still remained terrible, but Zach happened to be making some shots, which kept us sort of in the same point range, but you cannot come back if you're not getting stops. You can't, if you're giving up points on every possession, even if you score every possession, you're not going to win because you're at best going to tie. So you have to get more stops than you're able to get tonight. I said the defense has been so bad all night, it's been an unacceptable effort. We gave up 100 points with 4 minutes left in the quarter. At one point, I wrote, hey, we've been playing a little better, but we're still down 25. At the end of the third quarter, they had stretched it even further out. It was 111 to 78 at the end of the third quarter. In the fourth quarter, it was more of the same. With 6 minutes left, we pulled everyone, and the game ended. 132-113 after we put probably our first positive defensive lineup on the floor all night. That was Keaton, Zach, Jacob Toppin, Onyeka, and Asa, and Mo Gay. That was the first time that we had a positive defensive lineup on the floor all night long. We continue to put lineups on the floor that have the three guards, Keaton, Veet, and Kennard, on the floor, and we have then Mo and Onyeka in the lineup and say, hey, try to save the defense, and it's not possible. And to make matters worse, those lineups have been horrible offensively at the same time. But I will say this, when you have the defensive talent that the Atlanta Hawks have on their roster, it is unacceptable to give up 132 points in a game. It is unacceptable to give up more than 115 points in a game. We have the defensive talent to have a 109, 108 defensive rating, to give up 98 points in a game. And this was a team that had won one game prior to today. Getting into the player-by-player section, Toppin and Newell both played 7 minutes. And as I said, it was a lot better defensively, and the score reflected that. I mean, if I look here, they were both +7. It was going a lot better when they were on the floor. Moving to Keaton Wallace, he had 0 points on 1 shot. He had 2 rebounds and 4 assists. The defense is just horrible when he's on the floor if there isn't a person his size. They don't have a player his size. Their backup point guard's Bub Carrington, who's significantly bigger than him, and he took it to him. I mean, Bub, coming off the bench, had 10 points on 6 shots. That's really poor defense. Moving to Vít Krejci. Vít had 10 points in 14 minutes on 7 shots, 2 of 4 from 3. 1 rebound and 3 assists. Veet played great on offense, as he usually does. He's a very good offensive player. The defense was absolutely atrocious with him on the floor. It is always really bad when he's on the floor. I would rather have a guy who plays pretty good on offense, but not as amazing as Vita's been playing on offense, but plays good defense. We need players who get stops to play more. If that's Toppin, play Toppin. If that's playing Zach Moore, play Zach Moore. If that's going with a 7-man rotation, 8-man rotation, I'm okay with that. Right now, I've even said in passing with people I've been talking to, subscribers, things like that, I would be completely fine if we played Noah, Dyson, Zach, Jalen, Onyeka, Mo, and maybe Keaton, maybe Veet, like a 7-man rotation, 6 of which get the majority of the minutes. Because right now you can't play Veet significant minutes, you can't play Kennard significant minutes, you can't play Keaton significant minutes, you can't play KP significant minutes because the defense is awful with them on the floor. Moving on to Luke Kennard, he played 15 minutes. He had 9 points on 3 of 7 shooting, 1 of 3 from 3. He had 1 rebound and 4 assists, but was -3 in the game. It was bad. It was really bad. Defensively, especially. The efficiency wasn't great, but defensively, it was really pitiful. Mo Gay played 18 minutes. He had 7 points on 3 of 6 shooting, 1 of 2 from the free throw line, and 0 of 1 from 3. He had 5 rebounds, 1 assist, a steal, and was +1. Again, playing with the lineups he's playing with and being +1 in a game like this tonight should show you how good his defense is. It is insane. Lastly, we'll move to Onyeka Okongwu. He played 20 minutes, had 20 points on 14 shots, 3 of 6 from 3, 3 rebounds, no assists, but was -22 in the game. Again, that's what the defense looks like when you're playing him right now alongside KP, when you're playing him alongside these 3 guard lineups. He can't make the defense stay afloat. He's just one guy, and he's having to guard 5 guys because the other 4 dudes on the court can't stop a parked car. What is he supposed to do? The rotations are very bad right now. We should be playing only players who can get stops. If you cannot get a stop, you can't see the floor. We need to be leaning into our defensive ability. To the starters, Kristaps played 22 minutes. He had 22 points on 13 shots, 2 of 5 from 3, 8 rebounds, only 1 assist, and 5 fouls. He was -4 in the game. The defense is pitiful. It's really bad. And he makes up for it by fouling people. I mean, his matchup tonight, Alex Sarr, had 27 points on 15 shots. And that's a second-year player who has not been good so far in his career. He's playing better this year, but he's still has not been good. Moving on to Zachary Richase. Zach played 30 minutes. It's the first time I've seen him give a proper minute allocation to Zach this year, and it didn't help. He had 17 points on 6 of 12 shooting, 4 of 9 from 3. He was really hunting his shot. He had 5 rebounds, only 1 turnover, and ended the game -11. Zach looked good. The defense looked good, but he couldn't make up for the blunders of everyone else defensively. Yeah, it was a fine game from Zach. I thought he played very well on offense, and he played solid on defense. I would like to see him continue to get this much minutes allocation, but you never know what Quinn Snyder's going to do. Next, we'll move to Nickeil Alexander-Walker. He played 32 minutes. He had 8 points on 9 shots, 2 rebounds and 4 assists, 3 turnovers. He ended the game -20. Bad efficiency, high turnover number to assist ratio. Played bad. He didn't shoot the ball well. He didn't defend well. He didn't take care of the ball well. He's a better player than that, but that was an unacceptable effort from Nall tonight. I think we underestimated this opponent, and that can't ever happen in the NBA because every single team is an NBA team. They're all really good. Moving on to Dyson Daniels. Dyson had 32 points. He had 32 minutes, 11 points on 11 shots, 1 of 3 from 3, 9 rebounds, 7 assists, 3 turnovers. And crazily enough, Dyson Daniels did not record a steal. So that streak is broken. He was minus 23. Dyson's defense was uncharacteristically not very good this game, and the offense still struggles to score with efficiency. So that's not a recipe for success. And you saw that tonight. And lastly, we'll talk about Jalen Johnson. Jalen played 30 minutes. He had 7 points on 12 shots, 3 of 12 from the floor, 0 of 4 from 3, 7 rebounds, 7 assists, but 5 turnovers, and finished the game minus 20. Jalen played the worst game I've seen him play since he's been a real, true, everyday rotation player pro. He played terrible. He was pitiful on defense. He was unforgivably bad on offense. You have that kind of game from your best player, you're going to get blown out. And when people try to say, and I'm not trying to ditz on Jalen, when people try to say we don't need Trey because we have Jalen, this is the kind of game that Trey would keep us in the game with his offense. And Jalen could not. He was pressing, and the defense got worse and worse as he was getting more and more frustrated. He got a technical foul that was very, very overzealous. Let's say he threw the ball at the referee. You can't do that. The frustration came through. This is the kind of game where it would have been a much different basketball game with Trae Young on the floor, because he would have kept the offense rolling, and we hopefully would have deployed lineups that could defend the ball better, and that would have made where we stayed in this game. Moving forward, our next game is against the Cleveland Cavaliers. Again, that is the last game. It's on Friday. That's the last game that we are going to play before we get an update on Trae Young and hopefully a return of Trae Young. We have done a good job staying afloat, but I do think that teams are starting to learn ways to attack the team that we are deploying currently. This whole thing where we're putting centers on Dyson because he won't shoot. We're attacking the dribble of Jalen Johnson. We're playing fast and downhill against the players that are playing poor defense like Kennard, like Veet, like Keaton, like KP. These players who are not getting it done defensively, players are attacking them very frequently and very hard, and it's not working. That being said, also we're asking of a much higher workload on Nall. We're asking for a much higher workload on Dyson, and I think you're seeing the negative repercussions of that on the defensive end. They're better defenders than what they've played like the last few games, and especially like they played like tonight. I would like to see us, again, lean more into our defensive lineups. Let's play the guys who we know we can get stops from. Whether that's taking certain minutes away from Kennard or Veet or Keaton and giving them to a Jacob Toppin, giving them to a Mo Gay, moving Jalen to the 3, and hopefully he figures out some of his defensive problems, giving more minutes to Zach, giving more minutes to Onyeka. Things like this that are setting us up to be able to get stops, because again, that is one of the worst teams in basketball, probably the worst offensive team in basketball, and we just gave up 130 some odd points to that team, and they really weren't even trying. We need to make better decisions in our rotations, and this is the last thing I'll say about coaching, and then I'm gonna end up the video. When you are coaching any team and you lose, one of the things you have to look at is, why did we lose? What thing kept us from winning this game? Well, tonight, I think it's very obvious that the defense was the problem. Then what you do is you say, you can't just take that and say, oh, well, that's the problem, let's fix it. Then you have to say, well, is there more evidence of that problem being in the picture? How many of our other losses have also been because of that issue? And if you look back, most of our losses are games where we've given up too many points that we cannot be in that basketball game because we are giving up 130, 135 points, and that's hard to keep up with. Then you can even look and say, okay, let's look at the aggregate numbers that project the entire season so far. Why is it that the defense is so bad? Well, players like Kennard have a 117 defensive rating. Veet, 118 defensive rating. Keaton is well over 110. I mean, you're sitting there looking at it and you're playing players who have a very poor defensive rating a lot of minutes and then being shocked by the fact that the worst offensive team in basketball just blew you out. I don't get it. Play the players who can get stops, because at the end of the day, the difference between the greatest offensive player on the planet Earth and any rotation player on offense, the difference is like at most 4 or 5%. But the difference between Mo Gay to Vít Krejci on defense is 50%. So it makes no sense to say, oh, well, you got to have the offense on the floor. No, you don't, because they're all NBA players. At this point, the skill level of NBA players is so remarkably, insanely high that if you don't have people who can get stops on the floor at all times, they will make every shot they take. Go back and look at CJ McCollum tonight. That is not a good player anymore. He is old. He plays like he's old. But tonight, he just walks into a wide open three because nobody's guarding him, and he hit every single one of them because pros make open shots. That's what they do. They're going to do it every single time. So if I was the coach, I would go back and I would look at the film and I would say, why is it that we're losing? Oh, it's because our defense is really horrid. We're giving up free runs to the basket. We're giving up free dunks. We're giving up wide open threes. Well, what's the commonality here? Oh, well, it's that these players are on the court when that's happening. How can I figure out how to play them less? And I don't care what they're paid. I don't care what their name is. I don't care how their offensive game is going, because at the end of the day, the only player on our team right now that no matter what kind of defense he plays, he's so valuable on offense that you cannot sit him is Jalen. That's the only player that is like that. And still, I would like to see Jalen play better defense. But at the end of the day, you can't sit Jalen if he's giving you 25 and 10 every night. That's too valuable. But the rest of the players do not give you that kind of value on offense. If they do not play defense, they do not play. And I would give players like Jacob Toppin, Asa Newell, these opportunities and say, if you go out there and you defend, you're going to earn yourself an NBA contract because we're going to play you. We're going to give you minutes if you can prove you can stop people. That's what I would do. Let's see if Quinn Snyder takes this defensive, punch in the face. If he actually takes it off the chin and says we're gonna affect some things, we're gonna change some things, or if he says, oh, this is a fluke. I think it's going to be the second one, and I think that's a mistake. All that being said, let me know what you think about this defensive lapse that we had tonight, and let me know if you think it's a fluke or whether or not you think it is a true systemic problem like I have been talking about for literally weeks. I saw this game coming. I saw some team just destroying us because of how bad the defense has been. Because I've been talking about systemically how bad the defense has been for a long time. You can go back and watch. All that out of the way. Like, comment, subscribe. Like I said, give me your thoughts. And above all else, even though the Hawks don't want us to, I hope you have a great day.